watching the Obama deal that he had with Iran, that kind of messed things up, and now we paying for it. But let's get to it.
U.S. and Iranian officials said Sunday that they've agreed on a framework to end months of war, reopen the Strait of Hormuz, and lift the U.S. blockade on Iran. The preliminary pact has sent oil prices falling, but leaves the fate of Iran's nuclear program to further negotiations. In a social media post, President Donald Trump declared the deal complete and told the ships of the world to start your engines, let the oil flow. Trump also wrote that the strait would reopen upon the signing of the deal on Friday. Pakistan's Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif, who helped mediate, said the agreement includes an immediate halt to military operations. The agreement between the countries is scheduled to be officially signed on Friday in Switzerland. Iran's Supreme National Security Council said war and military operations on all fronts, including Lebanon, would end permanently starting on Monday night. There was no immediate reaction from Israel, which has said it was not party to the U.S.-Iran talks. Lebanon has been a major hurdle in the talks, with Israel and Hezbollah continuing to trade attacks despite repeated calls to de-escalate. Oil prices dropped more than 4% on early Asian trade, while Asian stocks climbed. But major questions remain. Iran's deputy foreign minister said broader issues, including sanctions relief, will be negotiated during a 60-day ceasefire. The conflict has killed thousands and roiled global energy markets, and the next phase of talks could prove decisive.
And that's the thing with me, man, about this whole war thing. Like, I don't know. I think I'm old enough now to feel it, because a lot of the other wars, even with the Iraq and all that stuff, I guess I was too young that. All right, go ahead and clock in, cuz I appreciate you coming by. Thanks for kicking it with your boy, man. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Shout out to my cousin Brianna, man. Get that money, honey. And see you soon. You know what I'm saying? Stay tuned. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, back to what I was saying. I actually think that it's crazy because we starting to feel it in our pockets, and this shit it gotta stop, man. But let's.
Today, the president also called out Israel for once again attacking what it says are Hezbollah targets in southern suburbs of Beirut, Lebanon. In separate interviews, he used the F word to convey frustrations with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu for launching the strikes just as the U.S. is on the verge of its deal with Iran. CBS's Imtiaz Tayeb is in Tel Aviv tonight with more. Imtiaz?
Ed, good evening to you. Well, this really could prove to be the most significant diplomatic breakthrough in the Middle East in years. The United States and Iran have agreed to end months of conflict, creating a pathway towards a broader agreement over Iran's nuclear program. Now, the deal calls for Iran to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, one of the world's most important energy and shipping routes, while the United States is expected to ease some economic pressure on Tehran and extend a ceasefire that has largely held since.
Tayeb is in Tel Aviv tonight with more. Imtiaz?
Ed, good evening to you. Well, this really could prove to be the most significant diplomatic breakthrough in the Middle East in years. The United States and Iran have agreed to end months of conflict, creating a pathway towards a broader agreement over Iran's nuclear program. Now, the deal calls for Iran to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, one of the world's most important energy and shipping routes, while the United States is expected to ease some economic pressure on Tehran and extend a ceasefire that has largely held since April. But despite the breakthrough, major questions remain. The agreement is only a framework, with negotiators now facing a 60-day window to tackle the far more difficult issues, including Iran's nuclear activities, sanctions relief, and the future of the Iran-backed groups across the region. And even as the deal was being finalized, Israeli strikes in Lebanon underscored just how fragile this moment remains. Tonight, though, both sides will no doubt be claiming a diplomatic victory. The real test will be whether this agreement can survive the mistrust and violence that have derailed previous attempts at peace. Ed.
And Imtiaz, do we know who exactly the United States is negotiating with on this agreement?
Well, notably, the U.S. isn't negotiating directly with Iran's new supreme leader, Mujtaba Khamenei, who hasn't been seen or heard from since being appointed. Now, the talks have been conducted through senior Iranian officials, with Pakistan and more recently Qatar helping to mediate. Ultimately, though, any agreement still requires Mujtaba's blessing. So while a memorandum may be signed, the real question is whether the Iranian leadership will remain committed once the harder negotiations begin. Ed.
Imtiaz Tayeb in Tel Aviv, thank you.
And I honestly think that's where the problem really lies at, because they killed this man, daddy, I think his wife, and his kid or something like that. And if I was him, man, if I got the last say so when you took my people out, ain't no way that I'm finna sign a deal, give you a meal or nothing. That's crazy, man. They really killed this man's whole family. And I guess they call it the whole change of regime thing. But they killed his family, and now he's supposed to sign this deal with the U.S. saying that, yeah, we cool now. Nah, man, I wouldn't do it if I was him. Everybody would be struggling for gas. But hopefully this do make the gas prices better. But let's keep going.
The U.S. and Iran negotiations make a lot more sense when you understand that what we're actually witnessing is a very elaborate example of political theater. A lot of us have probably started realizing this at this point because we've seen our president announce about 12 or more ceasefires at this point before they're immediately violated, usually by the Israelis. But it's critical to know that what we're watching Trump do is realistically very similar to what we saw and all bullied the Biden administration over only a couple of years ago, where he's saying, oh, I'm so frustrated, god damn it, why are the Israelis fucking this up? All the while still sending arms to the Israelis so they can fuck it up. And therein lies kind of the core issue here, is that the Trump administration is not actually trying to do anything to stop the Israelis from violating these ceasefires, because the Trump administration doesn't actually want a ceasefire at all. What Trump wants is for U.S. and Israeli victory, is for them to get the maximum amount of concessions out of a defeated Iranian state. And that is not fucking happening. Because, you know, and this might be a surprise to some of us who haven't been paying attention, the Iranians are kind of hanging in. They're doing their shit. They're keeping up with us. They're maintaining the blockade of the Strait, the most important part of their military strategy, and they're otherwise combating us on the ground every single time there's a major escalation. And it's not just the Iranians either, right? The Yemenis are actively enacting a blockade against Israeli ships in the Bab al-Mandeb. Hezbollah in the south of Lebanon is actively fighting an Israeli invasion and doing pretty damn well at that. So what do you do then if you're the leader of a major power that finds itself in a quagmire as a result of its own actions, that desperately wants to win the war it's embroiled itself in while knowing that the war is deeply unpopular at home? The answer is you do a little bit of political theater, right? You allow your ally that you arm, that you support, that you give political and economic cover and support to continue violating whatever ceasefire agreement you seemingly even come close to. It's not an issue if it's your ally, because you can just call your ally a jackass. Say, why is my ally doing this? Oh God, oh fuck, I wanted this deal so bad, but my ally is just a dickhead. All the while, you keep sending him the bombs, you keep sending him the bullets, you keep sending him the stimulus packages, you keep doing every single thing you can to keep your ally going, because you don't want the war to end. That's the thing. The US and the Israelis both want this war to continue. On some level, their leadership are convinced they can actually win this fucking war, despite all evidence being to the contrary. But they need all of us bought in on the idea that there is a ceasefire right around the corner. They need all of the oil traders and the people who are really making money off this shit to be able to manipulate the market so that their friends can make a quick buck while they lie to us functionally about all this bullshit. All the while, the only party acting in good faith in this entire negotiations process are the Iranians, who have been giving their list of demands, have been consistent in their list of demands, and are asking for what are honestly fairly understandable things. But yeah, all that to say, we used to bully the Biden administration for this kind of political theater where he'd say, oh, I'm so pissed off at Netanyahu, I'm going to call him right now. I've got another red line established. We're going to stop this genocide tomorrow, because we knew it was bullshit. And we should be treating Trump's announcements the same, because he keeps saying, oh, the ceasefire's around the corner. We're going to work it out with the Iranians. Commerce is going to start flowing again. It's all going to go back to normal. And then he just looks at the Israelis and goes, hey, guys, can you fucking do this? And they do it, and he goes, ah, shit, fuck them. Yeah, it's a game for these guys. And once you realize that what we're witnessing is an elaborate fucking ruse, all of this news starts making a lot more sense. Why are the Israelis moving in a way the U.S. seemingly doesn't want? It's because the U.S. actually really doesn't fucking mind it. If the U.S. really gave a shit, we'd be cutting off the arms supply. We'd stop sending bombs and bullets and all of the other materials to the Israeli colony because they are functionally, overwhelmingly reliant on us to continue their military operations. We would stop giving them political cover. We would threaten them with international political and economic isolation, but we're not fucking doing that. And I think that says a lot. But yeah, as always, just something I think that is worth thinking about. As always, free Palestine, Salamu alaikum, and have a great day.
Yeah, I agree with this guy 100%. Because within this war, I honestly think the U.S. is the big brother. And it amazed me at times to see how much power we have as a country versus other countries. If I had any other country to worry about, I'd definitely worry about China and Russia. And as you can see, Trump, he's smart. He know that China a problem. You know what I'm saying? That's why he went over there to China to have that meeting with their leader not too long ago. And I don't know if it went well or not, but he definitely took every big name in our country over there with him, which is very surprising to me because it's like Elon Musk, the Google CEO. He took Tim Cook, the Apple CEO. He took every heavy hitter with him to China. So you know that they're a problem and they need China. You know what I'm saying? And, I mean, we need China, but I think it's a crazy situation. I definitely think it's a money grab, and we just got to protect ourselves and govern ourselves because you already see that the government don't care. So you would be a fool to think anything other. But we're going to get to the next topic, man.